Page 44, Jingle-Bell Rock. It's just a fun thing that's, what, 3 pages long or so. 4/4 time signature, no sharps or flats in the key signature, but we have a few accidentals, so we're going to be using a few black keys here. I'm going to take the right hand first, checking the fingers and the rhythms and all that, starting here with an E and a C, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and the book is saying 1 and 5 again. If your hand is big enough, I suggest you stay in this position for the first line or so. We go 1 and then 1 4 and then 1 3. I get them all in this position, and I think that's a much better fingering than the one they're suggesting. So the second measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now on the last note on the first line, that G, come down and use third finger. Just come down here a bit. This way you're in position for the fourth finger. This way you can reach down and get the thumb. Measure 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and. We keep playing on the ands of the beats. Very slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The left hand's not going to be much help because it's got half notes. So just work that out until you can get it. Ideally, you can get this rhythm on your own. You don't wait for me or somebody else to play it for you first. Try and do it on your own if you can. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Measure 7. 1 and. G sharp, just come up here. 1 and 2. And remember the accidental is for the rest of the measure, but only that measure. So both of those G's are sharped. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. D sharps, and then a rest, come back up and like you were at the beginning. You do all that again, using the same fingering you did at the beginning. Measure 13, you got this wonderful rhythm again. And then for measure 15, during the rest, you come up. Second finger, 1 and. Measure 16, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I trust you can get those rhythms okay, but measure 19. They want you to do a 1, 3 all the way down. And that's kind of fun. And the articulation is going to let you get away with it. Otherwise, it's not a very good fingering at all. It's just a better fingering would be, if you want to try it, is instead of 1, 3 again, come over and do 2, 4. You're like using this as your anchor and just coming over. So that would be a more solid fingering, but the fingering here is kind of fun. You want to try it? Try it. But don't get in the habit of doing that way. It's a terrible fingering. And then reach up for the 8th note. So measure 20 here. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now measure 23. 1 and 2 and. We're changing hand positions on this repeated G. Here and then here. 1 and 2 and. Like so. On page 46, let's go down to second line. It'll be measure 29. You're here. Now you ended measure 28 here. And again, the A is repeated. We're changing hand positions on repeated notes. We do this a lot, so just lift up and move. 1 and 2, A flats. So again, for measure 28, you're here. And then going on, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 4, 1 and. And then that's held down all the way to the end. And I'll explain that slower no swing thing later. I would encourage you to just work on this right hand and try and get it pretty well before adding the left hand to it. The left hand's totally different. In the left hand, you have here, down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, then here, and then they want a 1, 3. That's fine. We can do that. And then just lift up and move. For here, and then here. And you can figure out the notes in these chords. It's a D chord, and then here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Just bring the thumb up. 1, 2, 3. Then you're doing that some more. On measure 15, it's a F sharp on that one. So you measure 14, you're here. But now F sharp. Measure 16, come down in the rest of 1 and 2 and. So 1 and 2 and. Okay. Then measure 17, you got the F chords, and then an F sharp in there. Same finger. And then thumb. Measure 20, 1 and 2 and. Okay, and then you get those, I hope. Put the hands together, and we're just trying to get them to, which notes come down at the same time in the hands and how do they fit. So hesitate all over the place, it doesn't matter right now. It's just here, it's here. And as I play the quarter note, the left hand comes up. Here. Second measure, you hold that left hand down. Together on those notes. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and. You do it again. On page 45, let's go down to where? Measure 19, you're here. 1 and 2 and. Hold the A down and add that to it. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then those are by themselves. Lift up. 2. Now measure 23. 1 and 2. It comes up on 2 while you're holding that down. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So it's a little tricky in there. So go through and try to get the hands working together, and then go back through it a few hundred times or whatever. And this can take a lot of time on this part, but get rid of the hesitation so that it is a steady beat all the way through. It doesn't matter how fast you go, but it's got to be a steady beat. We can speed it up later. Then we'll add the articulations once you can do this. And on the staccatos, they're short, and I'm hinging at the wrist here. So it's here, boom. See, it's bouncy on the first measure and connected on the second, and that's important. You have an accent on these, some of these notes. Just play a little louder. Like in the second measure, loud. And then the fourth measure, play the accented notes a little louder. This is left hand on the fourth beat is a staccato and an accent. And this is why we can do the fingering in measure 19, because they're all staccatos. It's kind of fun. Boom, 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 boom. Just don't go way up high, because then you lose track of where you're at and you'll miss notes. No missing notes. Accent, and then you're connected, of course. Lift up. And those accents are important because they help to add to the syncopation that's going on. Then at the bottom of page 46, the last line with the right hand is you're just holding on to a note. So the left hand has the staccatos, and then legato. And that's important. Once you can do the articulation pretty well, no hesitations anywhere, remember, and then we add the dynamics. It goes to the melody, which is the right hand. Moderately loud. Whatever you think MF, mezzo forte. That makes the accented notes loud. There. Left hand needs to be in the background. Not a moderately soft. Then at measure 5, come down to moderately soft. Left hand goes down to soft. Then measure 7, all of a sudden you're loud. The loud goes to the right hand, not the left. Go ahead and play this first chord loud and then tone it down because it's accented. And then loud. And then at measure 8, the left hand comes down to sort of softer swell. But the accented note can be a little louder. And then moderately loud here, like you were at the beginning. So forth. So you put in the dynamics. You can read them as well as I can. Now at the bottom of page 46 in the last line, well, on measure 33, you're loud here. The left hand's sort of moderately loud to moderately soft. And you're starting measure 34 loud. And then the right hand's just going to die away. That's all you can do. And this is going to be moderately loud, moderately soft, soft. You see the dim there in measure 34, the DIM period. Diminuendo means gradually get softer. So the right hand is loud. The left hand is moderately loud, I guess. And then moderately soft. And then soft. Here. And there's a retardando in the last measures. And all the time I'm doing this, I want to hear this. Don't drown that note out. It's going to die away. Stay under it. Here. I want to hear that all the way through. Now we have the tempo or the speed. And it says a moderate swing. And swing is the key word. We're going to play this in a swing style. Anytime it says a swing something, I'm swinging it. And that means we're going to swing the counting. It's not 1 and 2 and 3 and. It's 1 and 2 and 3. And it's long short. 1. It's not dotted rhythm. It's not a triplet. You just feel this. 1 and 2. The eighth notes, because that's the only thing we're swinging. It's the counting, it's all we're swinging. So. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All the way through. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Well, almost all the way through. At the bottom of page 46, it changes. In the last line, you say slower and no swing. And this is typical. Anytime you're swinging stuff and you slow way down, the swing goes away and we start playing even because it doesn't swing anymore when it goes slow. 1 and 2 and 3. No, you smooth it out, even it out. So starting in measure 31, we're still swinging here. And then all of a sudden it's straight. Slower and slow down. So it's slower, 1 and 2 and 3 and then at measure 34 it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. It just slows down and the counting smooths out and evens out. You got to get to know well enough you can feel this though. But right now we're forcing it. Now there's a page turn in this. How do you deal with that? Well, ideally just memorize it, or at least memorize page 46. You don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, maybe there's a person around who can turn the page for you. You don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, you got to do it yourself. Well, then you got to worry about it. However, at the bottom of page 45, the left hand isn't doing a whole lot. The last two measures, and then the right hand goes. While you're doing that in the right hand, turn the page. You can memorize the last note on that page. It's G. Just memorize it and turn the page right quick, and then you play the G and you go on. And that should work out fine. If you have to, you practice the page turn. We do sometimes in piano because the beat has to be a steady. Don't mess up the beat because you turn the page. No. When we do the play with me, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop and mess up the beat, but I'll explain that later. Now, please don't copy me. That's just an idea. I could play this 10 times and play it different every time. Make it yours. You get into it and get into the music and have fun with it. I like to play it with you very slowly. Let's double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics. I'll try and do the accents and the staccatos and that stuff. But just no dynamic. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. Now, I'm going to do pages 44 and 45, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn the page. I'm going to give us another 4 counts, count us in again, and then we'll do page 46 and finish it up. I can't change speeds, so the last line at the bottom is going to be the same speed. The only difference is I'm not going to swing the eighth notes. Where I'm going to swing the eighth notes throughout the rest of it, I'm not going to swing the eighth notes in the last line. I'm just not going to slow down. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1. Turn the page. 1 and 2 and ready and go and